Alright, so welcome to Offline Abyss Help. I will spend a little bit more time trying to understand how it is that I help the account. So Mads, this session, I have done this many times before and I love to make these types of content. I usually do it privately. It's up to you. Like this video to the public, but for now, private. Um, as you say otherwise, man. Okay. So I will, if it is that you would like it to go public, obviously I will edit it a little bit better so that it will be a much more condensed form. You get the raw version of it, alright? But if I do it, I make it entertaining. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go through looking at your characters, looking at the abyss, and deciding what are the best teams that you can possibly fight against this abyss, and then we're gonna build those teams based on what you have. And if it is that you don't have something that would for your account, I will recommend it so that you can have a look. So just right off the bat, looking at the opponents in this abyss, we know that the best archetypes to go against this abyss in the second half, and something that does not require an electro or pyro driver on the first half, right? Because then the first half chamber gets really. So what you want to do is you want to try and avoid your main source of damage being electro or pyro for this particular, and geo, or well, some other form of geo, right? But of course geo is the best option when trying to break geos. Alright, so we all know the star of this abyss, Avia, of course, right? And well, one of the main things that they put in this abyss to sell Zillanen would be particular enemies here. Shatterstone Primus. Basically, they're one of the most tricky enemies because they have a lot of Geo Res, but they also have Geo Shields. So they want you to take Geo Shields, but also their Geo Res stops you from getting as much damage as possible. So that's where Zillanen comes into play, why she's so good in this, because what she does is reduces that resistance of those Shatterstone Primus, and it would allow you to get your regular types of damage. Obviously, Zhongli is also good to reduce resistance, but not nearly on the level that Zillanen could shred. Alright, so we're gonna go with the Avia Zillanen, and well, due to Zillanen's property, her mechanics, I want to be able to reach of the Geo, which means trigger Night Soul first. Trigger Night Soul burst is what actually reduces res on enemies. So if it is that I choose another Geo character like Geo Zhongli, it's not going to allow me to do that because then I will not have the other elements to factor in to get that what you want to call it, get that debuff, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at different archetypes that involve Navia Double Geo. One of the most common ones that comes to mind is running Furina here, but you don't have Furina. So what we're gonna do is instead of running Furina, we're gonna look for another type of buff that we could put in that would allow us to do a lot more damage than usual, right? So buffs that come to mind are Yelan, because Navia will be on field. She's gonna be the main DPS, which that she's gonna get that on field buff that Yelan provides, right? And of course Bennett, because you want love to have Bennett with Navia, right? Other forms that you can look at is double pyro. So any double pyro, well, not really any double pyro, but you want a double pyro to make sense, right? So say for example you want to go with something like Here Bennett. This is fine because I mean, the Here is the kind of character that you could just slot in if you have no one else. Most optimal choice obviously is Zhangling Bennett. I was looking for your Zhangling, I didn't think built. Oh, seeing her. Yeah. So double pyro also a really good option, which I may actually take up because I think I want to use Yelan on the first half. If I'm not going double pyro, Yelan would be my next best bet. Alright. Obviously there are much other ways that we can take down his shield. Right. As I mentioned in stream, I'm not too sure if you were there, but during Trev's stream, I mentioned that there were a lot of different and that you can destroy your shields, like overloads, claymores, plunges, different things like that. And another character that comes to mind is somebody like Gaming, right? You have Gaming, you have people that drive overload, Plungers. Well, you don't have what do you call this girl again? Cloud Retainer. Cloud Retainer would allow anybody to be able to take that role on the second half, like Cloud Retainer here, and just pick any driver you want to drive the plungers. Could be Deepu, could be Noel, could be anyone literally. And yeah, it would still be amazing, right? So we're gonna go with this comp here, right? Just to start and get the clear down, we're gonna go with this comp. And if it is that I have some time after left in the video, I'll do a couple other different comps to show you and to combat the abyss. Right? So looking at the first half, right? Let's take a look and see what the best bet for the first half is. Alright. So first half we're looking at Electro Pyro. Alright, then we're looking at Slide AoE, Slide AoE, right? But the first half is very low amount of enemies, mostly single target except for Chamber 2 and 3 where the enemies come in pairs. But you can still use a single target team if you'd like to clear those types of things, right? So if I wanted an AoE team to run the first half, people like Kazuha comes to mind, right? And something like Hyper Bloom, or let's see, what do you have that's good in AoE? Here is good in AoE as well, right? He is extremely good in AoE when she's Kazuha. However, we're using Bennett on the second half, so I'm not too sure if I'd want to use D here. Alright, Raiden is good at AoE, but we're trying not to use an Electro driver. I can use it because there are ways to get around it, and I'll talk about that very soon, because it kind of looks like I might be forced into going that route, right, based on the options that you have on your account, right? Because the other options for drivers are we could go Raiden, we could go Duke, right? But then there's Pyro. Let's see, what other drivers do we have for like on-field gameplay? Ayaka. I wouldn't mind choosing Ayaka, but without Shenna, without Fiorina, not too confident in the Ayaka pick. If there was Rosaria as well, that might be good. Okay, no Kokomi either. But we have Mona. Mona is pretty good with Ayaka, so we can use Mona. I'm just kind of worried about the that I would have with Ayaka in order to. If you want me to demonstrate an Ayaka play for you sometime, I wouldn't mind trying her on your account, but it's just going to be a little bit difficult because options for a freeze comp here are very limited on your account. So typically you want to pair Ayaka with like Rosaria, Shenhe. Diona is fine, but most oftentimes with Diona, you end up like minusing DPS in a sense, because she's better in like as a melt enabler for someone like Gaming, right? Like you could run Gaming with double cryo. Where's your boy? I thought you had special reservations for your boy, right? Someone like Gaming with Kaya, Diona, and Bennett, and this would enable the melt for Gaming like super good, and that double cryo giving him extra 15% crit rate. Running him with does he use the Hunter set? I can't remember if he has self-siphoning HP. But if he has self-siphoning HP, then you run him with the Hunter set. And run this with Bennett, of course. Put Bennett up here with, and this is a great comp. Like this is a fantastic 4-star comp that does a ton of damage, right? But I don't like using Diona as a support for Ayaka, because she doesn't really do much besides wear Noblesse and have a Favonian. Right? I mean, it's decent, but it doesn't do much. But she has EM buffs as well, which means that if it is a user as a melt enabler, right, she runs better because she gives EM. She could wear Noblesse and give attack, and then she also gives particles as well. That extra added benefit of using EM from her kit, it's very good in melt. So for this Claire, right, what it looks like to me if I'm not running Hyper Blue. And I'm not even sure if I want to run Hyper Blue, considering I'm not seeing if you have Cookie here. Right, which means that if I'm running Hyper Bloom, I would quicker run like a Razor on-field driver or a Raiden EM, right? Which probably is not going to be better than running something that would allow us to fight against the Electro, right? So now we're gonna get to this part here where I talk about fighting against the Electro, right? A lot of people feel like you can't fight the Electro with an Electro, right? And I think I've showed before, like I've cleared this with DK on the first half as well, against the Pyro guy as well, right? The main thing is that when it is that you're fighting against those enemies, to focus on the rest of the comms DPS in order to clear it, right? So one thing that works really, really well in single targets, right, that can pretty much obliterate almost any enemy in the game is the double hydro core, right? It's perfect for this situation because enemy is also single targets, right? And to amplify the damage of a single target core, you run that with Kazuha, right? So I can run the Raiden here within this team comp here, and I should be able to be fine because the double hydro core is what's going to be able to supplement the DPS in order to kill off this Electro here. The only problem that you have with this team comp is that there's no healer, right? But if you're really worried about healing that much, you can always try to look for a little bit more HP substats on your Shengcho, right? Add a little extra healing. A little extra healing and what's the word I'm looking for? Resistance interruption. That's correct. Yes, resistance interruption. So you get a little bit extra with HP substats on your Shengcho, right? In terms of defensive gameplay, right? And the thing is, he does so much damage that once your talents are leveled up, which they are, I'm pretty sure you're still gonna get pretty decent damage even if you run a couple of HP substats, right? We're still looking for crit, still looking for ER, alright? And yeah, so let's get to the building section now. I'm gonna go with these teams, right? And once again, I know it might be a little bit risky not having much it'll be a little bit risky not having a heal on the first half. With a little bit of practice, you can do it, right? You can do it. Alright, so Raiden, he looks fine. Wearing the catch on your artifacts are good. This is a good ratio. I don't need to touch your Raiden too much. Chencho, I'm worried about his energy recharge, but the fact that we're running him in the double hydro core and Yelan is wearing a Favonia's bow, it should be fine in this team comp. In team comps where you're running Shengcho without Yelan, you're definitely gonna want to change this and energy recharge Sans, right? And it's not going to hurt him that much if you swap this and energy recharge Sans. The substats that you have on your attack Sans is not that good either, so I wouldn't suggest trying to run this on attack when you're using mono hydro Shengcho, solo hydro Shengcho, right? But when you're in double hydro, as we're going to be playing now, this is fine. Alright, your land looks fine as well. Right, a little bit low on crit damage. You want your land to have a lot higher crit damage than this, but it's clearable. I would like to think that it's clearable. Of course, Kazuo, 749 EM, 131 charge. Running Black Sword, I'm definitely going to weapon, right? Because Black Sword doesn't offer me anything in this team comp. Right, options that I would choose quicker are Favonius, Sack Sword, maybe even Iron Sting. Alright, so because some of your characters lack a little bit of crit damage, I'm gonna go with more Elemental Mastery. Right, the fact that I'm also running him with Raiden means that that's going to account for the additional ER that we need in order to get Kazuha's braced up on cooldown. And I think it'll be fine considering Yelan is also holding. Right, so you see how all of the weapons that you choose as well as the sets that you choose kind of play into how you're going to run the team comp, right? So everyone here are emblem users except for Kazuha. Definitely want all the brace up on cooldown because that's where all the damage is, right? Which is why the only thing that you need to worry about is your Shengcho's ER. The double hydro for Vonius with Raiden, we're gonna be able to get back the brace on cooldown. It's not going to be that much of an issue. Right, the only thing that we need to worry about is the damage, but I really think that we'll be fine. Right, I really think that this team comp has enough damage to see it through. Your Navia, 57, 172. Right, I'm gonna try and see what I could do about this. This weapon is fine. As long as you've done all your quests to max out this buff, this weapon is fine. However, I really do trust the Wolf's Gravestone a little bit more. So I'm probably going to swap this weapon over to the Wolf's Gravestone for this clear. Even though it's on level 85, I still end up with a lot more attack than I do with this weapon here. Alright? I'm pretty sure the extra attack from the other weapon does not show until we're actually on field. But that's okay. I'm pretty confident that this weapon here is going to be extremely good. Right, so this is running 2-piece Archaic and 2-piece Gladiators. Now this is not a bad selection, right? However, I'm pretty sure with the artifacts that you have, you can find something better, right? So for example, 2-piece Petra is not as good as 2-piece Golden Troop for Navia, for example, right? And that might just be a knowledge check, right? That might just be something that you might just have to look up on the internet. Which one is better, 2-piece Golden Troop or 2-piece Archaic Petra? The answer always turns out 2-piece Golden Troop, right? So you may be borrowing some artifacts here from Fremine, as he's wearing your golden flower. Looking for a second golden troop so that I can use. It may look like you have golden. Oh wait, no, it's also filtered, so it's also filtered. Let's see, what can we get here in golden? Probably not going to level up anything here, because like I mentioned, I don't level up things, but I am going to lock it for you so that you can have a look at it later on. Right, so it may not look like we have a there, which fine is fine, but one thing I do want to see is if we have good stats in general. Right, what about there? I would quicker run the 2-piece attack, if it is that we have better substats elsewhere. As a matter of fact, we could use fast equip to tell this pretty easy, right? So to use the fast equip, select your main stats that you want, of course. Crit rate, of course. Then we come in here, and now we could actually just mix and match these sets a lot and see what we come up with. Alright, I'm looking for better stats, because better stats are more important than keeping 2-piece sets. But let's put it in this priority, right? 4-piece sets on top. 4-piece sets are what you go for always. If you can't get a 4-piece set, you go for 2-piece. If the stats on your 2-piece are not better than a rainbow set stats, you just go with rainbow. Right, and look at this here, we already have a better ratio than the one that we had before. We increased crit rate and crit damage just by switching to this here. Ayaka is the only thing here. If I were to try and use a crit damage, would I still be able to get enough crit rate? No. And this is not enough crit rate either to supplement a double cryo either as well. Alright, so let's replace Gladiators with Petra. Let's see what the thing comes up with. 18,192. That's not good at all. 5,170. Oh, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. You'd have to borrow something from your Noel and borrow something from your Zhongli to make it happen. But once we remember who we borrow things from, we'll be fine. And we're not using Zhongli nor Noel in this clear, so we can always put the pieces back after. I think I will finish leveling this up though. Actually, no, I don't need to, because this is pretty bad. This is pretty bad. I won't continue to level this up, actually. That's pretty bad. Alright, so I'm going to equip this. Alright, I'm going to equip this. I'm going to take a screenshot and save this somewhere else so that I can remember who I took these artifacts from. I can put it back after. And this looks like very, very good stats here. Right, 2-piece attack, 2-piece Archaic Petra. Right, if I have problems critting, I will swap to a double cryo comp like I demonstrated on stream the other day. Right, and yeah, I might even use the Diona in order to get the double cryo. Right, but double cryo could facilitate for the lack of crit rate if we need it. Hopefully, we might even get good cards in the Abyss that could also supplement our crit rate. Right. So next up we have Zillanan, 3300 defense, running the crafted sword. 2-piece. Now we're not doing definitely not doing 2-piece of this set. We definitely want 4-piece of this set, right? Definitely want 4-piece of this set. Now I'm gonna be real with you. It actually does not even matter if we can't get enough if we can't get like level up artifacts here, that doesn't even matter. Right? The only time it will matter is if you're running Favonias, if you need crit rates, and if you're running the signature weapon, there's a particular cap on defense that you'd like to hit. Alright? But because we have 192 recharge, I'm gonna go with 2 level 0 artifacts. Well, actually this is not level 0, which is perfect, right? I'm gonna go with a level 0 artifact here, because the 4-piece on Zillinon is way more important than anything else. This set is what will send your damage to the next level. Alright? So we're gonna go with that there. Right? Now the other 2 people in this comp are Zhangling and Bennett. These 2 guys are not gonna matter that much because their damage is not going to be that important. The important thing is going to be what's on Bennett here. Alright? And his ER is 256, which is a lot of ER, which means I could look for a higher base damage weapon than Favonius. Try and see if I could get a better buff out of it. This looks pretty good. But I don't think none of it is actually necessary. Alright, so let's just run it with the Fab. Wait, I think we also have this Ali Flash, right? Ali Flash is also a really high base damage weapon, I believe. Is it? Or is it the bow? Might be the bow that I'm thinking of. Ali Hunter. But one of these Ali weapons have really high base damage, and Luna's telling me it's Ali Hunter on his side, so it's probably Ali Hunter. Alright, so we're gonna run with these 2 team comps here. I think we're gonna be fine. The Zhangling, that looked fine from her stats. But of course, like I said, her damage is not gonna be as important as Navia's damage. Right? That doesn't mean don't build her, of course, but that just means that we don't need to worry about having her too much here. Right? So this should be good. Let's go and see what the comp looks like. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at this Claire here. Alright, so these cards here, they suck. Even this one, character sprint damage, this kind of sucks a lot, right? But I'm going to try my best to remember that I have this card and alter my gameplay in order to suit having this card, right? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to walk up to the key. This is a lot of things that people do not do when they're fighting this guy. They don't walk up to the key, right? So I'm going to start E, Shengcho dash, E, Q, Kazuha, E, to reduce the resistance so that Yelan's damage could be really good. She's gonna have a lot of damage here, and then we finish it off with Raiden. I didn't dash with Raiden, so let me do a dash now. I was supposed to dash before I went into my burst, and look at how much damage that's done. He's almost dead already, right? That's the power of the double Hydro Core. Start with Kazuha this time to reduce the resistance for Shengcho. Go to Yelan. There's C1 here, I did not realize until just now. Now we could go back to Kazuha and pump this here. We're gonna try and kill this guy, right? So we could get some swirl, and then we could switch to Raiden, and boom. Make sure to dodge his attacks. You see him sizing up with his claws. You just move to the side, right? Run Kazuha's E, reduce resistance, onto Shengcho, burst, double, Kazuha again. I'm gonna remember to dash with Raiden this time before I hit my Q. Right? And as you can see, one thing that you'll notice is that I am weaving in normal attacks, right? While I am attacking him, I am weaving in normal attacks, right? Reason why is because of the Shengcho's and Yelan's, of course, abilities. They do not hit if you do not normal attack. Alright? So I'm weaving in those normal attacks. Right? One thing that helps me out with this is the equipment that I use. Right? I will take a picture of it to show you after. But I use a mouse that has a double click button feature on it. Right? That way I do not have to actually spam click. Like, you're not gonna hear that coming through my mic ever when I'm fighting, because I am literally just holding down one left click button one double click left click button which continuously attacks, right? So that helps me a lot. And if you really like Genshin and you want to learn more about combat and you want to make a combat a little bit easier for you, these mice are really cheap. It's not like a special gaming mouse or anything. They're very standard nowadays. You can get a very cheap mouse like this for as low as like $5 US, right? So look it up on Amazon for a mouse with a double click feature and you'll be fine. All right, so for this team compare, the important thing that I need to remember is that I want Navia's burst up early enough so that the burst could start getting stacks for me immediately. All right, so I'm going to start with Navia's burst, right? And because I'm not using Navia's 4-piece on her set, I do not need to use the E unless I want a little extra damage, which is fine, right? Which is fine. I may use it just for a little extra damage, and because I also have a little bit of habit in me, because I use 4-piece Navia set on my account, right? So if it is that I do use an E after I burst, it's because of habit. All right, so we're gonna start with Navia's burst, and then we're gonna go on to maybe we're gonna go on to Bennett next, so that we could pop Zelena and stuff after, so that we could get some pyro. Actually no, maybe that rotation is bad. Maybe I should use Goba to apply pyro, because typically you want to use Zelena before Bennett. When you're using Zelena and Bennett in a combo, you typically want to use Zelena before Bennett, so you can maximize her lengthy debuff timer. Her debuff has a very long duration, which is a lot longer than Bennett's burst, right? So you typically want to use Zelena first before you get onto Bennett, right? And that way we can also like diffuse the resistance of the pyro as well, posing crystallized shards, buffing both Geo and pyro because of her 4-piece set of the Natnan set, which is why it is so important. It's important because we buff both pyro and Geo with this set. Alright, so let's see. We're gonna start with the Q onto Jangling's Goba. Then we're gonna go to Zelena with the enemies applied with pyro. Alright, and once we finish with Zelena, we're gonna go to Bennett and Q and E into Jangling's Q, and then we're going to go back onto Navia. Alright, so let's go. Navia Q. Yes. Use my Q. E. So we got crystallized shards from Zelena. Oh man, we missed that. Missed that completely. There we go. Good damage. Still pretty good damage. Q. Dangling's Goba. Zelena. Get those crystallized shields and Night Soul Burst. Jangling's Q. Oh, peppermint on the floor. Pepper on the floor, sorry. Not peppermint, sorry. And you see what I mean, right? You see their resistance, right? You see how tall their resistance is, right? Oh, no, not Zelena, it's not your time yet. Oh, we need some more ER for Jangling. Feed her those particles. In the meantime, we can still shoot some shots with Navia while we get this burst up. And we could alter our rotation a little bit because we messed up our rotation a little bit with that ER. We could alter our rotation just a tiny bit. And we're at it here. Now this looks nerve-wracking, right? But just don't worry. These guys go down really quickly. Just believe. Just believe. Just believe. You got this. Alright? Just believe, okay? These guys go down really, really quickly. So even though the time looks slim, it is possible. And you can do it. As long as you have the Geo to clear the shields like instantly, that Navia shot is just going to bypass them with Zelena's resistance reduction to Geo. It's just going to bypass them and do tons of damage. Right? And as you can see, even though we had Zelena, you see how tough and tanky those two Primus balls were. Now that we've cleared the hard part of it, this should be smooth sailing from here. But of course, we're not gonna be too frightful of that, right? So character burst damage plus 20%, right? definitely gonna go with this card, obviously. Doesn't do much for our second team besides Zhangling, but this does tons of amazing things for our first half comp, which is all burst damage. Alright, let's go here. We're gonna go with the same rotation. Raiden into Xingqiu QE. Swirl with Kazuha into Yelan. Double E, weave auto attacks. And then Raiden, I forgot to dash. You want to jump in the middle of these guys to make sure that they don't run away. And then they want to kind of come to the outside so that they come close together, right? Now you can run through your rotation. Boom. Beautiful electro charge team. And we're done. Alright, so second half. So how do we clear this guy's shield? Alright, how do we get past this guy's shield as fast as possible? Now there's a few ways to do it. Of course, we have double Geo, so this is going to be amazingly fast, and we also have Navia, which is going to be amazingly fast also. We also have a little bit lacking energy here, except for Zhangling. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with Bennett, so I can try and proc Fav as fast as possible, and then I'm going to switch to Navia. Actually, I think I'll switch to Zillinan first, so and proc some res reduction, and then we're going to go to Navia, shoot one cannon, and then plunge 4 times. Navia's infusion will last 4 times before it runs out. When it comes to plunging, right? So for 4 plunges, you can plunge, and then you have to shoot another shot. All right, so let's start with Bennett. Fav, Fav, Fav. All right, nice, and we got Navia's burst as well. I forgot Zillinan, but that's okay. 2, 3, 4, and now let's do this. Boom. Get that crystallized for Pyro. And now Navia is going to do boom. Now this plunging does a lot more damage than her normal N4 against this particular enemy. So I'm going to do that, right? Plunge again. Fav, please. Nice, very nice. Now, because Zhangling's burst is not up, and this guy has a very tiny window, I'm not going to farm her energy. I'm just going to use her on next rotation. Zero count is pretty strong. Now, because I'm using double Geo, I can actually start the... Oh, I didn't get this. Nice old burst. Dangling, proc some Fav because the chamber's about to end. Whenever your chamber's about to end, proc your Fav so you can get as much ER as you want. Mads, 755, your account is really strong. Mads, we are doing this. We are doing this, Mads. Alright, last but not least, EM is the only thing that helps us here. The defense, we're not using defense scaling Geo characters. We already have pretty good HP. Elemental Mastery will help our Electro Charge, however. So we're going to use Elemental Mastery here and hope that we get a stronger first half team. Alright, we're going to come here. We're going to walk to the outside of this guy so he could walk away while the other guy walks towards. I forgot to switch to Kazuha instead of Yelan there. That's okay, swap to Kazuha, then go to Yelan, burst, normal attack, skill, normal attack, skill, normal attack, Raiden. Wait, I want to do this with Kazuha one more time, and then I want to proc Raiden's burst after a dash. Xingqiu is already up. My rotation took way too long, so I'm going to retry. Right? I made too many mistakes. I don't have to retry, but I want to, because I want to make it clean so that you can see exactly what to do and what not to do. That was an example of what not to do. Right? So I went in and I messed up my rotation, which would have costed me a lot of time trying to fix. Right? Instead of trying to fix it, I'm just going to retry because I'm going to cut my losses and save myself the sanity. Right? This is one thing that Trev does not do, which I continuously tell him that he has to do. Right? This is his next step in order to get better at being an Abyss runner. Right? He needs to be able to accept when something is lost and when you need to come at it with a different perspective. Right? So I made a mistake. I'm going to retry. I'm going to try again. I'm going to EQ, Kazuha, Not gonna make the mistake this time. Yelan. Rhydon. Dash first. And look at the difference in the damage. Look at the difference that made. I almost got this down in one full rotation there. Right, they both applied with Electro and Hydro this time. Right, Yelan. The reason why I'm always bursting on Yelan first is so that I can get the particles from Xingqiu's E to land on Yelan as well. Alright. So for this guy here, we're gonna try and proc Bennett's Path again for Zhangling. And then we're gonna go through Navia's normal combo. Hopefully we have Navia's burst up as well, as it will help take down the shield as much as possible. Yes, we do. Right, boom, boom, boom. This time we cannot plunge, so we do our N4. I got staggered, so that's gonna reduce stuff. Bennett burst. I'm still seeing the ring underneath me, which means the resistance reduction was still in play. Now I have full stacks. 325k, let's go. Damn it, I did not get that hit off. Sometimes you'll see me do N2's dashes instead of oh, I did not do that for Pyro. I did not get the Pyro buff there. So I'm going to hold off on this until I get another one of these, which means I'm going to run this by the time instead. Right? And this is one way that you can fix your rotation, right? I still actually didn't do it for the Pyro there. Made a few mistakes, but it's not the end of the world. As you can see, I am actively fixing my rotation as I go along. And we're still gonna get a pretty fast clear here as well. Pretty fast clear. That's 8-minute clear. Alright. So there we go. Your Abyss is now complete. 36 star. I know I didn't have to do the entire run, but I thought it would have been more beneficial and more of a learning lesson for you, because clearing Abyss is not just about knowing which characters are strong, which characters do a lot of DPS, but it's also understanding how to combat the opponents, the specific opponents that are in the Abyss, right? And what are the best strategies and ways to get through, right? And yeah, I hope you were able to learn something from this. Right? I hope you were able to understand how to tackle certain enemies and how to pick teams towards fighting them specifically as well. I hope this video helped you. I will tell you the timer I will leave in the description the timer for where you could skip to. That will take you to just the gameplay if you're just interested in the gameplay only. Alright, but yeah. Thank you for tuning in to this video, I guess, and take care. I hope this was a learning lesson. I think I will save any other team comps and stuff for a different video. If it is that you would like to do a specific video, please just DM me. Let me know if you'd like to do a specific team comp or character for us to do another form of these as well. I think this type of video will help people a lot more. And if it is that you have specific character requests that we can go into, then I would love to help you on those characters. Last but not least, let me just replace those artifacts that I had taken off. So we took Razor's Flower for Navia. Let's go Razor's Flower. There's Navia. Razor's Flower. Took Chongyun's Feather. Traveler's Sands. Yeah, one of the main reasons why I say let's do other team comps in another video is because I know you want to do some Noel stuff. I know for a fact you want to do some Noel stuff, and I'll be glad to do some Noel stuff with you. Alright, so whenever you're ready for a Noel video, let me know and we will arrange the suit, okay? Where's Navia? And last but not least, Noel's circlets. Rio. There you are. Alright, there we go. Alright, so take care. Alright, thanks for letting me play on your account, and I hope you learn, and I hope that this will help you going forward. Take care. Bye.